Hey, this is Dr. Keith Hersey, and you are listening to the Destroying Diabetes podcast.
Good day, everybody. This is your friend, Dr. Keith, your local pharmacist, here with another podcast. Sorry I haven't published one in a little while, but I'm here today to publish a quick one. This one won't be very long, and I guess they did let me in. Doors went locked. There wasn't anything padlocked. I was able to get in. The microphone is on as far as I know. So hopefully that you're hearing everything that I have to say, or I'm talking to an empty wall and no one will ever hear this episode. But if you're hearing this episode, I guess that's good news. They hadn't shut me down yet. So thank you. Welcome to the Destroying Diabetes podcast, where we try to empower you to take charge of your health journey. Today, I just wanted to speak briefly about a crucial topic that a lot of people are talking about. It's called prediabetes. I was very fortunate to lead a virtual class on pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes recently, and got a lot of questions from people that were participating and people that even patients that I see and work with. So I just decided to just do a brief episode about pre-diabetes. Hopefully I'll go into more detail. I'm in the process of lining up some great experts that could speak further along with this, maybe in more depth than what I'm going to do. I can speak to you from experience as a pharmacist working with diabetic patients, and also if you never listened to the podcast previously, I am a type 2 diabetic myself. I know the struggle. I've been through most everything that most diabetic patients struggle with. Control the disease, worsening conditions, adding on medications, side effects of medications. I've been through it. I've been there. I understand. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. Okay, so one thing someone had asked me is that what I do. I've just got a diagnosis, went to my doctor, had my yearly physical, and when they were doing some of my screening, that they noticed the elevated blood glucose level in the labs. So they did some further testing, and they tested a test. The most common test is A1C hemoglobin test, which looks at your blood glucose level, how much it is on kind of an average over a 3-month period. So it's a lot better indication of your blood glucose than just like a fasting blood glucose, like they take it before you eat anything, or just a random blood glucose sample. So that tells your provider a lot more about how your blood glucose has been reading. So, and usually people may get like an elevated result in maybe like a blood panel, just a normal blood panel. Then they do like with your annual checkup, and then they may follow up with a A1C test. Okay, and so they went to the doctor. They got your A1C. It's above normal. It's not in the range of someone that's diabetic. It's not considered like 7 or above. That's considered someone that has type 2 diabetes, but it's like maybe it's 5, between 5 and 6, or might be at 6. So depending on your various other factors, such as like family history, your weight, if you're overweight, if you have any other health conditions like high high cholesterol, high blood pressure, um, anything like that, then you're kind of put on a risk scale as far as developing type 2 diabetes. So most people would term you as someone that's pre-diabetic, that you have elevated blood sugars, but it's not to the point where it can be definitely diagnosed as like type 2 diabetes, which that's a good thing, because at this stage, a lot can be done to have you where you can fall back into normal blood glucose, or you can fall into developing type 2 diabetes, full blown type 2 diabetes. Okay, so you have the diagnosis of pre-diabetes. What can you do to get yourself back on the normal range, not fall into type 2 diabetes? Okay. What I would do if I was diagnosed as being pre-diabetic, the first thing is not to panic. And I know that's easier said than done, because you may have a family history of type 2 diabetes. You may have some loved ones that have passed away through complications of type 2 diabetes, or they may be suffering from complications of type 2 diabetes now. So you think, and I know I thought of when I first was termed pre-diabetic, you think about people losing limbs, people being on dialysis. That's what some members of my family um, had happened to them that were type 2 diabetes. And so that's a scary thought. I understand that. But you can use this as kind of a wake-up call. Um, Usually, if you're pre-diabetic, you usually have had something, your body is usually signaling, trying to tell you something. It's trying to tell you usually that insulin is not doing as good a job as it used to, that you're progressing to where you might not be able to produce enough insulin to keep your blood glucose levels in normal range, or eventually, in some cases, you're producing a high level of insulin, and soon that high there'll be so much insulin resistance in your body that the amount of insulin that you produce won't be adequate in keeping your blood sugars down. So if that happens, then that's when usually you fall into the type 2 diabetic range. Usually you probably already may have been experiencing some of the symptoms, like excessive thirst, frequent urination, probably like the biggest ones that you may experience. Sometimes, and the weight can work either way. Some people that experience, they actually may experience a weight loss because of their body trying to compensate for the increased blood sugar. Sometimes people may have weight gain, but it varies on the individual. So weight in itself um, is not really a sign whether you're got type 2 diabetes or on the path of type 2 diabetes, even though obesity is a big risk factor. Usually most people, not everybody, but most people that are type 2 diabetes are overweight. Some are obese. But that's common, but that's not a sign of type 2 diabetes within itself. Your biggest thing, what you can do is doing some lifestyle modifications. If you want to be able to swing back into the normal side. So you need to focus, the biggest thing that you need to focus on, more than even exercise, is healthy eating. Um, you definitely need to try to limit like processed foods that are high in sugar, high in refined carbohydrates, like what people would say, like white flour, white sugar. Um,
You want to limit those. You want to incorporate more fruits and vegetables, lean meats, and healthy fats into your diet. And there's all sorts of um, materials on what constitutes healthy eating. Also, you can work with your provider. Most of your providers now have access to like a nutritionist with other major practices, so you can just check with your health insurance and see if that's something that's covered under your plan, like nutritional counseling. I think that's very good because usually if you have someone outside looking in, they can see things that you don't see, and they can give you good advice as far as making small changes. That's what the biggest thing I would emphasize. Making small daily changes will go farther than trying to make big, massive change. Because usually, if you make a big, massive change, it's easier to fall back into your normal habits because it's such a massive undertaking, and you may not be able to keep it up over a long period of time, and then you can fall back into your same habits, and a lot of times you may go even worse than what you were before you started. So starving yourself, stuff like that, that's not a good idea. Making changes in what you eat, that's like small changes, like subbing out fruits and vegetables for fried food is a big thing. Like having uh, grilled and broiled meat instead of fried meat. That's a big thing. Incorporating even cooking with healthier oils, like you cooking with healthy healthy fats instead of um corn oil and animal grease, stuff like that. Another big thing, healthy eating, that's going to be like the thing that makes the biggest impact, the biggest difference. But the second most thing is getting like physical activity. Notice I didn't say like exercise. Exercise usually has a kind of a negative connotation because people think that you have to work up just a big sweat and your heart just has to be going 100 miles an hour and you have to be exhausted. And that's farthest from the truth. You do need to work up a sweat. You need to get your heart moving, but you don't have to do it to the point of exhaustion. Again, you'll just burn yourself out doing something like that, and that's something not to be able to maintain. Um, if you want to concentrate on getting at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days of the week, most people say 4 to 5 days a week at least. Most of them can include just like walking, jogging, cycling, swimming, or something but make sure that it's something that you enjoy doing there. I mean, if you don't like to run, don't get up and try to run around the track 5 times, 5 days a week. You're not going to make it. Um, you know, you have to find whatever you enjoy doing. Find something that you feel like that you can be consistent in. The biggest impact, which I tell my patients and I try to do myself, is just walking. Walking it does wonders. There's so many studies now that show the effect of walking even 15, 20 minutes a day at a brisk pace, how that does wonders for your health, does wonders for your blood pressure, helps stabilize your blood sugars. And then also another benefit is that it helps relieve stress. So you got all that going on, all those factors that can harm your health. Just doing a brisk walk, at least 15, 20 minutes, most days of the week, do wonders. In fact, studies that I've read is that if you walk 10 minutes, like a steady walk after you eat dinner, then that controls like the blood glucose spikes because usually like your blood glucose will spike after you eat because when you get all the food in you and that food is converted into glucose. And then if your body has too much, that more than it stores, then it gets into like your bloodstream and elevates like the glucose levels in your bloodstream. Which that's normal, but you don't want it to spike too much because that's abnormal. Your body should be able to handle the whatever glucose spike that you have. It shouldn't spike that much. Your body should be able to handle what you're bringing in, and then the insulin should be able to handle the excess glucose in a normal functioning body. But usually, if you're pre-diabetic, your body's not functioning normally as it could. So that's one of the things you need to really work on. Is that those two things: healthy eating, regular exercise, and the biggest thing is stress management. Just being able to relax. Stress can increase a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol is usually in response to your fight or flight symptoms that happen in your body. Like if you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or something like that, um, get you out of there. So that's good in that situation, but stress in the day-to-day situation is not good for your body. It increases like your blood glucose levels as well. So, just doing things such as meditation, deep breathing, yoga, or if you find hobbies that help you relax, prayer as well, just things to help take the stress off. So, and again, like with walking is so great is that you get a twofer, you get stress reduction and regular exercise or physical activity. All right. And then also you want to make sure that you're getting regular checkups. Once you get into this level, you really want the doctors don't want you to fall into like type 2 diabetes. They rather for you to fall onto the normal range. So it's really important that you do follow-ups. They may want closer follow-ups at first just to monitor your progress and like every 3 months, like an A1C test, because like I said, the A1C test measures your blood glucose levels over a 3 month period. So it doesn't really do a lot of good to do it till every 3 months because that gives you like a more accurate picture of how your condition is it getting better or getting worse. So I'm having that every 3 months, talking to your doctor. A doctor may depends on some of the other risk factors that you may have. If you have several risk factors, they may start you on the medication. Most of the medication that's usually started is called metformin, and that helps increase like the your body sensitivity to insulin and should help reduce like your blood sugar levels. And one of the good side effects of it is that, and a lot of people, not everybody can help like with weight loss as well. The downside is that it usually has like GI effects, like people bloating, gas, diarrhea is very common when, especially when people first start taking it. Is that's probably the most common side effect. Some people experience nausea, vomiting, but not diabetes, diarrhea is probably the biggest side effect, and that's why some people stop taking it um, because of that side effect. And usually, as your body gets used to it, it usually goes away as your body gets used to it. And then also, there's a metformin that's more of a longer acting form of metformin, extended release. Usually, with that, those side effects are less likely because it's released slowly over time, over 24 hours, than rather you're getting like a big shot of it when you take it. And so because you're getting it more steadily over a period of time, that those side effects usually are less. So if you do take metformin and then if it's the side effects are kind of make it hard for you to take it on a regular basis, you may want to talk to your doctor about changing it to an extended release form of metformin, and that those side effects should be less with that. Biggest thing also is that just having support from your family and friends, just let them know that what's going on, let them know that you're going to incorporate like lifestyle changes, and it would be great, if they join with you, but if not, you still have to do that to prioritize your health. I think like everyone can benefit from healthier eating, whether you have type 2 diabetes or not. Just eating less processed food, less sugar, less high saturated fat. That's good for everybody, whether you have type 2 diabetes or not. If you can incorporate it into your meals with your family that you prepare, you'll have a lot more success. If everybody is eating the same thing, and you won't have the feeling of being deprived, or you won't have so much of the temptations where the rest of the family is eating the stuff that's not as um, healthy for you. And I know it's hard to fight the temptation when it's right in front of you a lot of times. So you can smell it, you can see it. So the biggest thing is having a support system, having like your family and friends. If you can have someone to help you with the journey together, like if a family member wants to undertake healthy eating, or if you have a family member or friend that you want to go like walking with, I think that's great. That's great if you can find someone that can do that with you. And then also also if you don't have any family, there's a lot of groups. There's a lot of diabetes support groups. Almost every area where you live in, especially in the United States, there's some type of diabetes support group. Some people they meet in person, some things they meet virtually, but it's so important to have a support system, whether that's your family or friends or a support group. You're going to be a lot more successful if you're working with other people than if you're trying to take it on your own. It's not saying that you can't do it on your own, but if you want to increase your chances of being successful and not falling into the type 2 diabetes, or falling the other way, the way where you don't have a type 2 diabetes, you won't be diagnosed as having type 2 diabetes, that you have a normal, healthy, functioning body handling blood glucose. So, just wanted to give you my 2 cents about that. I hope that you found this information helpful. Please, we have contact information in the show notes. If you want for me, I love doing this. I love talking to groups. If you have a group, if you want me to talk to your group about diabetes, I also have a link in the show notes as well. I can do it in person, or I can do it virtually. I love just giving this information because it's so important. I don't want people to make all the mistakes that I made, like with this disease. And I want you to thrive. I want you to be healthy. I really want you to I really want you to be well.
So if you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to the Destroying Diabetes podcast for more valuable insights on health and wellness. And don't forget to leave us a review and share this episode with anyone who might benefit it. Anyone that has an internet connection, no matter where they are in the world, can listen to this podcast. So doesn't matter whether they're family or friends, if they live in North Carolina or live in the United States, it doesn't matter. As long as you have an internet connection, you can listen to this podcast. And until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for everybody for your support. Continue to support us. We really appreciate it. Thank you, and be well.
Thank you for joining us on this informative journey. The content of this podcast is solely the professional opinion of the host for informational purposes only. It should not be considered a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you're experiencing any health issues or concerns, we strongly recommend that you seek the counsel of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes.